Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal braces for a busy week ahead as he is embarking on a tour of the US and China. The 10-day tour begins tomorrow and ends on 25th of September. On the eve of his tour today, Prime Minister Dahal also briefed the Parliament regarding his address to the UN General Assembly, from where he will directly fly to China to grace the opening ceremony of Hangzhou Asian Games. Experts, meanwhile, have urged the Prime Minister to remain watchful to queries on the country's transitional justice. Good evening, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan, and these are the headlines of the hour. State security bodies left unaware despite international criminal gangs taking Nepali citizenship and passport to launch illegal network in Nepal. Prime Minister Dahal briefs the Parliament regarding his upcoming visit to the US and China. Experts urge the Premier to remain prepared to face questions on transitional justice. United Nations says the deadly flooding in Libya this week was due to ill effects of climate change. Death toll crosses 11,000 mark as many more feared missing. And India chasing 266 runs for victory against Bangladesh at the last Super 4 match of the Asia Cup. The Central Investigation Bureau of the Nepal Police has concluded its first round of the probe in the 60 kg gold scam, as it has entrusted the Office of the Government Attorney to file the case against the alleged culprits. In the course of the investigation, it was revealed that 23 foreign nationals involved in the case had obtained the citizenship certificate and passport from Nepal with relative ease, further highlighting the fragile security mechanism of the country. The CIB investigation pointed out the involvement of 50 individuals, including 23 foreign nationals, in the 60 kg gold scam. The gold scam this time doesn't just concern the smuggling of gold through the country's customs, but it also highlights how the nation's security mechanism was breached by the criminal gang. The 4 arrested alleged culprits of Chinese origin were carrying Nepali citizenship and passport. The citizenship certificate were issued from Kathmandu and Kabre Palanchok. Daojing Wong, who has been billed as the main culprit, had been living in Nepal for the past 10 years in the guise of a fruit businessman, while another alleged culprit, Dawa Chering, too had lived in Nepal for the past 8 years. However, none of the security agency had any idea about the dreaded nexus, which included 23 foreign nationals. Dawa had even married with Nepali national Amala Roka of Rolpa to increase Nepali connection, as he was found to be to build good rapport with Maoist leader Barsaman Pun, Dipesh Pun, son of Vice President Nanda Bahadur Pun, Rahul Mahara, son of Krishna Bahadur Mahara. The nexus had even leased over 3 ropenis of land in the capital's Tokha to operate a factory for extracting and melting gold. The country's intelligence department did not have the slightest of idea regarding all the planning of smuggling taking place. The nexus thrived on the situation and smuggled 362 kilograms of gold in a single year. The CIB has called the case highly sensitive, as more government authorities who were used to obtain the citizenship certificate and Nepali passport could also be dragged into the case. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal is to inform the world audience regarding Nepal's political achievements at the UN General Assembly. Prime Minister Dahal is embarking on a visit of the US and China beginning tomorrow. Premier Dahal informed the Parliament today regarding his US visit to attend the UN General Assembly and the subsequent China visit, saying that he would highlight on the efforts made in concluding the peace process and for the global goals of sustainable development. Premier Dahal will address the UN General Assembly on the 21st of September and attend high-level meetings on the sideline of the event. Premier Dahal will also attend the 19th Asian Games to be held in Hangzhou during his China visit and pay courtesy call to Chinese President Xi Jinping. While in Beijing, Premier Dahal will also meet with his Chinese counterpart Li Keqiang.
बीच विद्यमान द्विपक्षीय सम्बन्ध थप प्रगाढ हुनेछ भन्ने मैले विश्वास लिएको छु। यस भ्रमणलाई नेपाल र नेपाली जनताको हित एवं नेपाल चीन सम्बन्धलाई मजबुत तुल्याउन सदुपयोग गर्ने मेरो प्रयास रहने कुरा म यस सम्मानित सदनलाई अवगत गराउन चाहन्छु।
At the House of Representatives session today, Premier Dahal also informed the lawmakers that investigations are ongoing for the recent gold scandal, the attack on Nepali Congress leader Mahendra Yadav and the death of a minor in Kantipur Children's Hospital. He also informed that preparations are underway to form a high-level commission that will probe into the gold scandal. Meanwhile, Speaker Devraj Gimire informed of the vacant seat of lawmaker following the demise of CPNUML leader Subhash Chandra Nemong, who was elected from Ilam constituency number 2. As Prime Minister Dahal is set to leave for US, experts back home have urged the Nepali delegation to draw the global attention in favor of the country and national issues, considering the UN General Assembly is an event attended by heads of states from around the world. Premier Dahal's attendance and address at the UN General Assembly is his first in 4 years as the Prime Minister. While he has informed the Parliament that he would shed light on the efforts made to conclude the peace process, analysts have warned that he seems least bothered about the laws related to transitional justice. Nepal has also barely achieved 23% of the Sustainable Development Goals, and experts have urged the Prime Minister to call international community to lend more support in this regard. They also called for efforts to avail from international funds and services for countries reeling due to climate change and hold bilateral discussions with countries that have in the past provided support and with the countries that host the most Nepali migrant workers. It is also expected that Nepal will take initiatives to activate the SAARC association through a ministerial level meeting. And in our public voice segment, we have asked in all 7 provinces what should be done to protect children's rights. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
सचेतनाको कार्यक्रमहरु गाउँ-गाउँमा टोल-टोलमा घर-घरमा पुर्याउने हालको ठोस कार्यक्रमहरु ल्याउनु पर्यो।
बालबालिकाका निम्ति जति पनि कानुनहरु बनेका छन् नि, ती कानुनहरु लिखित रूपमा मात्रै छन्। तिनीहरुलाई चाहिँ व्यावहारिक रूपमा प्रभावकारी तरिकाले कार्यान्वयन गर्न जरुरी छ।
समुदाय र अभिभावकहरुमा सचेतना फैलाउनु आवश्यक छ।
तल्लो तहदेखि पाठ्यक्रमबाटै यिनीहरुलाई बालबालिका सम्बन्धी अधिकारहरु उनीहरुलाई चाहिँ सिकाउनु पर्दछ।
बालबालिकालाई घरदेखि नै सानैबाट चाहिँ बाल अधिकारप्रति सचेत हुनु पर्यो।
बाल मैत्री तरिकाबाट स्कुलको वातावरण सिर्जना गरेर त्यस्तै खालको पठन पाठन गर्ने वातावरण राज्यले सिर्जना गरिदिनु पर्यो।
सबै बालबालिकाले इक्वल रेस्पेक्ट, इक्वल एजुकेसन पाउनु पर्यो।
पढाइमा अलि बुक्सहरु चाहिँ उपलब्ध गराइदिनु पर्यो, राम्ररी बुक्सहरु उपलब्ध गराइदिनु पर्यो।
बाल मैत्री शिक्षाहरु चाहिँ यो देशमा लागू हुनुपर्छ।
बालबालिकाले मनोरञ्जन, नृत्य जस्ता कार्यहरु गर्न चाहन्छन् उनीहरुलाई गराउने।
राज्यले विभिन्न समयमा ऐन कानुन बनाएको छ, यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्नुपर्छ।
टिचरहरुले मात्रै ध्यान दिएर भएन, घरको प्यारेन्ट्सहरुले पनि राम्रोसँग बच्चा पढ्नु पर्छ, होमवर्क गराउनु पर्छ।
खेल्ने, डुल्ने, रमाउने बेलामा उनलाई जबरजस्ती हामी झोला बोकेर स्कुलमा पठाइरहेका छौं। त्यो उनीहरुको अधिकार हनन भइरहेको छ।
जुन किसिमको कानुन बनेको छ त्यो कानुनलाई पनि अझ थप परिमार्जित गरेर बालबालिका मैत्री बनाउनु पर्छ।
बाल श्रमबाट टाढा राख्नु पर्यो उनीहरुलाई।
अवेयरनेस प्रोग्रामहरु गर्नुपर्छ।
नीति नियमहरुको राम्रोसँग पालना गर्नुपर्ने र त्यसलाई राम्रोसँग कार्यान्वयन गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ।
सडकको पेटीमा देखिने बालबालिकाहरुलाई राज्यले तोकेका विशेष संरक्षण व्यवस्थाको चाहिँ उचित रूपमा तपाईको कार्यान्वयन हुनु पर्दछ।
प्राविधिक शिक्षामा जोड दियो भने पक्कै पनि बाल अधिकार अथवा बालबालिकाहरूको अधिकार सुनिश्चित हुन्छ।
प्यारेन्ट्सहरुले टिचरहरुले हैन बच्चालाई ध्यान दिनु पर्यो, पढाइमा देखि लिएर खेलकुददेखि लिएर।
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And before we give you today's question, let's take a look at a response to yesterday's question. And yesterday we had asked you, what could be the reason for the increasingly more doctors leaving the country? 36% voted for option A, attractive income. 55% voted for option B, lack of opportunities back home. And 9% voted for option C, abroad attraction. And here's today's question. And the question is, why have teachers become agitated concerning the education bill registered at the Parliament? Your options are option A, politicizing education, option B, natural interest, and option C, lapses in understanding. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And time for international update. The United Nations top aid official has said that the floods in Libya are a catastrophe in which climate change and the capacity of a country to cope have collided. The UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Martin Griffiths, said the most pressing needs were shelter, food and healthcare at this hour of grave tragedy in Libya. Griffiths said at a news conference in Geneva, access to Derna was difficult and there were the daunting problems of the dam breach as well as the storm breaking from the sea. He said the tragedy of climate and capacity had collided. Griffiths said another challenge was coordination with the government and with other authorities in the east of the country and gauging the extent of the disaster. Secondly, he said discovering the extent of the problem could not still be figured out in that second phase, getting the right aid to the right people in the time. Likewise, the UN's World Meteorological Organization Chief Petri Talas said many deaths could have been avoided if early warning and emergency management systems had functioned properly in the war-torn country.
Sports news.
Bangladesh are playing against India in the last match of the Super 4 round of the Asia Cup. India elected to field at Colombo's Premadasa Stadium. Bangladesh got off to a worst possible start as the first three batters were dismissed with only 20 runs on the board. Liton Das departed for a dock while Anamul Haq could only score 4 runs. Saqib Al Hassan and Mehdi Hassan Miraj tried to restore parity. However, Miraj also departed for 13 runs as Bangladesh lost their 4 wicket for 59 runs. Saqib then added a valuable 101 runs partnership with Trido Hridoy to give respectability to the Bangladeshi score. Saqib finally departed after scoring 80 runs, while Hridoy compiled a well-made 54 runs. Nasum Ahmad chipped in with 44 runs. Bangladesh posted 265 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. Chasing 266 runs for victory, India have found the going tough. As wickets fell regularly at the other end, opener Shubham Gill waged the lone battle for India with a well-compiled century. When the report last reached us, India had scored 226 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. The result of today's match is inconsequential as India and Sri Lanka are contesting the final of the Asia Cup on Sunday. And those were our latest headlines. Up next is News in Nepali. Good night.